Welcome back to another daily Marvel Snap deck highlight here on YouTube, coming at you with some Cerebro action today. A lot of people, when they look at these Cerebro decks, they see something that's easily disrupted, and I frequently hear from people how locations are just the biggest problem for this archetype. But in my opinion, as someone who's played a lot of this deck, it wasn't really the locations that have been holding Cerebro back so much as it was other cards in the metagame that disrupted you more consistently than location did. Most notably, Shuri playing Red Skull was a big thing that allowed the opponent to push around the powers of your cards, disrupting the Cerebro bonus because they were able to change what your highest power cards on the board were. The second thing that really disrupted Cerebro were the Thanos decks featuring Soulstone, giving one of your lanes -1 power. In enter the most recent over there update buff here in Luke Cage, who has the powerful ongoing effect of your card's power can't be reduced. And Luke Cage now has 2 points of attack himself, meaning he gets to share in the Cerebro bonus with the rest of our deck. Past stopping things like Soulstone, Luke Cage also helps mitigate some location variance for us from things like the negative zone or sewer. We mix in a little bit of Storm for neutralizing other locations that can be troublesome for us. I think this deck actually ends up being a pretty reasonable choice if you're playing it well. Now, some of the details in this deck that I always like to call out is, first, we've got a Daredevil plus Hobgoblin package. Hobgoblin serves two purposes here. The first is that it gives us counterplay against Galactus, which is quite common in the format. And the second is it's just an individually high power card that can help us win lanes that we otherwise wouldn't be able to get over the top of with our Cerebro 2 buff cards. We also have Blue Marvel at the top end of our deck. This card's really valuable in this archetype because it gives us a way to make our board that's gone wide get bigger in the games where we don't draw Cerebro, or it just gives us a secondary power up effect if Cerebro's bonus isn't enough. At any rate, I hope you enjoy the game highlights that I have for you here today. I think they do an excellent job of showcasing this deck in action. If you do enjoy what you see, snap that like button, and hopefully I'll see you back again real soon for some more Marvel Snap here on YouTube. We'll be at 18 mid, 6 left, and 18 right, so we'll be at 20 in the mid, actually. Man, that lockjaw into nowhere really did a number on them. I do not think you should play Hazmat in this deck, chat. Hazmat is essentially unplayable in any game where you don't draw Luke Cage. And the other thing to consider if you want to put Hazmat in this deck, you have to cut one of the higher curve cards because you can't ever really play Hazmat on 2. So you can't cut one of your cheap cards that you're playing on curve. So the question then becomes, are you cutting Mr. Fantastic, Storm, or Hobgoblin? I don't really think you could cut any of those cards. The most cuttable of them is Mr. Fantastic. You need Storm for mitigating location variance. You need Hobgoblin for counterplay into Galactus. Okay. Okay. There's a good lad. I think this is a play Cerebro this turn in case Mystique comes into play off of Sakaar, right? And honestly, I think I'm snapping our hands pretty good. Oh, you know, maybe I should play Cerebro in one of these locations so I'm not putting both of them into the same spot to get Enchantress. Yeah. Yeah, I should have spread this out. But I played to this out appropriately. But I done messed up the positioning on the Cerebro. They have 6 energy this turn with Psylocke. Maybe I'm supposed to... Oh, sorry, they have 5 energy this turn with Psylocke. Counting is hard. Yeah, looks like she not. They think means I want a Hobgoblin, right? I think they're probably passing. So we go to 24 in the middle, and we'll go to 12 on the right. Well, that's not enough to beat Infinite, though, huh? That's enough to beat She-Hulk. Alright. Alright. The opponent's deck's not an Enchantress deck. We're not going to play around Enchantress here. I should have split these earlier like I was talking about to play around that earlier, but... At the end here, once we see what their deck is, it's no longer a concern. Do we snap them on that one? Might snap them on that one.
Oh, snap.
Wind, aid my hand.
Well, the good news is, if they're Thanos Galactus, they don't have a place to Galactus. I guess technically the order matters because they could Enchantress us, but if Invisible Woman is surviving, the order doesn't matter. Technically, in the event that they Enchantress us or rogue us this turn, we should play it in this order. There's no downside and there's only potential upside. Luke Cage has enough sweaters for everybody, chat. We ain't worried about Jotunheim. We'll pop up to 12 over there retroactively. Opponent is leaving. This is the game, chat. This is where it all turns around. Onslaught Citadel is a beneficial location for us. Almost feels like cheating. You should snap. This is the one. Even have Invisible Woman to protect here. We'll press the button. We're not going to draw Cerebro. I mean, we could hit Blue Marvel too. One of the reasons why this deck is good, because you're not just a Cerebro deck, you also have Blue Marvel.
Wind, aid my hand.
I guess Hellfire Club's a little annoying. I think I want to just do this. Hey, Snapshot Superhero, thanks for the 5 months, appreciate it. They're explicitly throwing priority. That's fine, I have Invisible Woman. She saves lives, chat. Ah, it's probably not enough to win the left, huh? Oh, Cerebro and Blue Marvel in the bottom 3 cards of the deck. Big rip. Big rip. Does this win the game? I believe. I said this was the one, chat. I said this was when we were turning it around. Hobgoblin's gonna win the game. I would like to dedicate this W to all the haters that never believed in me. When I say this is the game, I mean this is the game. Gonna go ahead and brood here. It's the most resource efficient. One thing that's interesting about Invisible Woman to note, chat. If you play Mystique under Invisible Woman, she counts whatever the last cards you play outside of Invisible Woman on turn 5. So you can actually curve Invisible Woman into Mystique in this deck, so long as you are ending on one of these somewhere else. I'm gonna play, normally with the Cerebro draw, I wouldn't commit more to the vault here, but because they played Omega Red there, I think I just need to put all my numbers out. They could win left and right here if they have like Killmonger and some other stuff. I think Hobgoblin is pretty generically all right in this deck. It lets you basically get more stats into a path. It has strong synergy with Daredevil. It's also an anti-Galactus card, but I think it has play and utility in a lot of other spots as well. It's also a card that just like gives you a decent amount of stats in worlds where you don't have Cerebro. Yeah, it's also good into locations. Luke Cage, incidentally, actually makes Hobgoblin a little bit worse because Hobgoblin is like good into places like the negative zone and the other ones that give minuses like the sewer. Seven, are we good? Yeah, we're gonna be more than 7 on the left here. With thanks to Blue Marvel. That's all. Snap the like button if you'd be so kind, and check back tomorrow for another deck highlight.